What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today is an amazing day. We are going to be taking a look at the Mafia the Old Country trailer, plus I think there's also like a dev blog going on as well, so we're gonna go ahead and check that out as well. So subscribe. We will be playing the mess out of this game, guys. Subscribe to the channel. I'll have a full-on playthrough, and also follow me over on Kick. Link is in the description down below. I will be playing this game on PC, maxed out settings, at the hardest difficulty, full-on playthrough live. So make sure you guys follow me on Kick. But without further ado, man, let's get right into this video. All right, guys, here we go.
Come in.
Bravery is not common in this world, Enzo. Loyalty, honor,
Wow,
obedience.
this is where it all started, man. This should be the darkest, greediest story.
But this matter is not yet resolved. Will you help me bring it to a close?
Of course. Tanto risi.
Let's go. Look at this, man. This is gonna look amazing on the PC. Wow. Look at the driving. The driving in this game is gonna be so chaotic. Look at the combat. Love the linear combat story.
You again.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And you can pre-order the game right now, and it's $50 for the base edition, which is insane, and it's $60 for the deluxe edition. I'll probably get the deluxe edition because I'm such a Mafia fan, and it's a more linear story. It's not a huge open world, which makes me think of two things. One thing being, I'm very happy about that. I'm actually glad we're not getting this huge open world. I'm glad that it's exactly what it should be. Mafia was never meant to have this huge, vast open world. It's always meant for a linear story with a great narrative and great, just linear combat. That's all it was meant for. So I'm actually glad that they're not going away from what Mafia really is. And also, I feel like we're gonna get an official Mafia 4 soon. I think this is kind of like a side-off game that's gonna be on the shorter end. That's why it's also cheaper. But then Mafia 4 will be a much more fleshed out game, which I'm hoping, if it is gonna be a more open game, I hope it's not a huge open world, and hopefully it's more like a linear game. But let's see this dev diary experience real quick.
Hey everyone, I'm Nick Baines, president of Hangar 13. We hope you enjoyed this new look at gameplay in Mafia the Old Country. We're just 3 short months away now from getting this game in your hands.
3 months,
we can't
man.
wait.
I
Mafia
can't
the
wait.
Old Country
Dude, look
is
at
an
that.
origin story for the Mafia universe, and as such, it's both a step forward and a return to the fundamentals of the franchise. The heart of Mafia has always been deep, immersive storytelling, and Mafia the Old Country is no exception. It's a premium experience in the vein of early Mafia games, with a linear narrative set against the stunning, authentic backdrop of 1900 Sicily.
This game's gonna
That
look
focus has
incredible.
allowed us to
I
deliver
love it.
A classic organized crime drama in the period authentic Mafia rules and traditions of the era. And as you just saw, we've made some exciting gameplay updates. Whether you're using a knife or a gun, using stealth
That's
or in
crazy.
shootouts, this is brutal and grounded in all the best ways.
It has to be the most
It's all going to pull you
gory
in
game.
from every
This is
angle,
where it all
pushing
started.
the franchise forward in a location and time painstakingly created with the utmost authenticity and detail using Unreal Engine 5. Stick around, because next up is our development team.
Oh yeah, I forgot it's
With
Unreal
loads
Engine
of awesome
5.
behind-the-scenes insights on how we brought this title to life. And stay tuned between now and August, as we'll have even more to tell and show. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
I wonder if they're gonna do what they did with the Mafia 1 remake and just show off gameplay, as we get closer to the launch. Marketing officially begins.
Come in.
This
Our
is
top
where
goal
it started.
for every
This has to
Mafia
be the
game
best.
Is to deliver the promise to a player that you're going to play a classic mob movie. Mafia the Old Country is a linear crime drama set against a beautiful Sicilian backdrop. The first step for us was to make sure that we were nailing all of the things that players expect from a Mafia game. The quality of its storytelling, how immersive it is, how authentic it is. Previous Mafia games have been set in big American cities. We've taken the action and we've put our story in rural Sicily, in the place where the Mafia began.
You really feel like you're transported into another time. It feels really unique and different, but yet really familiar. Players are really going to enjoy that aspect of it.
Our entry point for making these crime dramas is always the protagonist. We wanted to make sure that our main character, Enzo Favara, lives up to the standard which we've set in the past, and I hope in some ways even exceeds that.
He has
All of
to.
the men in this
This is
room
where it started.
are
He
bound
has
by
to.
blood.
Enzo grows up in a sulfur mine. He's one of a bunch of children that are sold to the mine owners
Wow.
at this point in history in Sicily. Their life expectancy is short and they're essentially seen as disposable.
Enzo turns to crime as a means to make something of himself. The odds are stacked against him. So what does he do? He sees an opportunity for himself to gain some status, to gain some respect.
Do you wish to commit to this family?
I do.
Swearing the oath is the chance for him to finally be accepted. He's found a family. It's the thing he's been searching for his entire life, but it comes at a cost.
I think players are in for an emotional roller coaster. The
Yeah.
high stakes of the Mafia life present opportunities for us as storytellers to take players and put players through the ringer, really, in terms of what happens to the character, what happens to them in the game.
You again.
Man, this is going to be crazy.
What makes a really compelling gameplay experience is the mix of the high-intensity combat, cover play, cover shooting, set by these beautiful cinematics that make what you do in the combat so much more meaningful because you're fighting for something you really believe in.
I love the
Authenticity and immersion
combat
are
fighting
key.
now.
And so we wanted to take that philosophy from the storytelling and make sure that it was consistent in the gameplay.
You know, whether you come for that core cover combat shooting experience or that white knuckle driving experience, we have that in Mafia the Old Country, but
Great.
it's unique.
There's some downbeats, there's some deep storytelling moments, and then there's some like high intensity action. And I think
I'ma
that's
definitely
what
go
makes Mafia missions
stealthy
and the
stealthy
general
as well.
experience
You know,
so
obviously I'm gonna go
interesting,
all
so
out
you're
too.
constantly trying to change that roller coaster experience that you're on.
Enzo's proving himself with guns, and we wanted the combat to feel like there was a scarcity of resources, so you have to be more tactical in the way that you approach combat. The knife has been an integral part of gameplay. It's a part of Sicilian culture.
We wanted our gameplay to be immersive.
With Mafia 3,
to
I
have a
was
life
very
or death
stealthy with
kind of
that game.
vibe. So when players are in a knife duel, when they're in a gunfight, they're genuinely fearing for their lives.
My flesh must burn like this saint if I do not keep my oath.
Bringing 1900 Sicily to life for us, it infuses every aspect of the development. It's about the characters, it's about the music, it's about the story, it's about the setting, it's about the vistas, it's about the vehicles, it's everything. It always starts with research, it always starts with immersing ourselves in the subject matter.
That's
So
true.
whether that's reading every crime book around the Sicilian Mafia, watching all of the movies, even driving the cars, firing the weapons, and then translating that into the game, that's the development experience.
We even sent some folks out to Sicily. We were then able to take all of those experiences and try to translate it into an on-screen experience, but also a story. And those two things are woven together in a way that I think players are going to really enjoy.
Bravery is not common in this world, Enzo.
The Mafia that we see in Mafia the Old Country is much different than the Mafia that we see in some of the other Mafia games. It's a time-honored tradition steeped in secrecy, and there's this sort of deep honor that we see within the Treachery family and within the characters there.
The characters' relationships with each other, the way they behave, is very much influenced by that setting and that cultural difference.
This
is a
should be
distinctive
crazy.
experience that I've never played before, and I'm sure that players are going to feel the same.
This is gonna be like one
Mafia the
crazy
Old Country
story.
is our first Unreal 5 game in the studio, and it's particularly suited
Dude, like
to
the
Sicilian
world.
setting.
We've really been able to push the boat out in terms
I
of
cannot
sort of
wait to play
real
this game.
tiny details on everything.
You know, one of the big ones for me is metahuman. You have characters that have really lifelike expressions, micro details. You know, many times when I'm watching the game, especially on a big screen in 4K, I start to forget that they're characters rendered
Look at
in the
that.
engine. They just look like real characters in a movie. I think that's the level of immersion that we want, and it allows people, I think, to really suspend their disbelief and go along for the ride.
Enzo is beautifully rendered in the game, and I think he's one of the most compelling game characters we've seen for a long time.
The thing I'm most excited about from Mafia the Old Country is finally getting the game in players' hands.
The story pulls you through really quickly.
Dude, look at
and
that.
At the end, It takes your breath away, and it's one that you're not going to want to spoil for your friends.
The visuals and the storytelling are absolutely next level.
Our setting's completely distinctive. Our story's completely unique. This is a game that you haven't played before. The best crime stories have unforgettable twists, and this game's no exception. Players are in for a treat.
Welcome, Enzo.
Man, oh man. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about Mafia the Old Country in the comment section down below. Man, this game is crazy. This is going to be such a crazy experience, man. I cannot wait to play it as soon as it comes out. Make sure you guys follow me over on Kick. I will be streaming the mess out of this game. I want to play it on the hardest difficulty, hardest settings, because that's the best Mafia experience in my opinion. And this is going to be one of the craziest stories ever, man. All right, guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. Subscribe for more gaming news and gaming videos. I'll see you guys on the next time. Sign out. Peace.